Hello, YouTube. Here's my boy.
Press the notifications bell and the subscribe button in below.
And thank you.
And thank you.
Well, hello, everyone. Hopefully, everybody's doing okay. It's about 2 a.m. here, I think. I don't even know what day of the week it is. I lost track of time. That happens when you live in the Philippines. I woke up a little earlier than normal. I've already had my coffee, by the way. The reason I woke up, we had a brownout. And I got up, and of course, all my controls are in the entryway to the bathroom. And I just flipped my switch and over to my batteries. And back online, I'm up and running. A quite common thing in some parts of the Philippines is brownouts. They are areas that don't have the same experience. They've upgraded their grid that does much better. But here in Negros and in Providence, even when I lived in the small city of San Carlos and so forth, my experience here has been pretty often brownouts. We had some rain last night. Must have been heavy somewhere, not far from us. I don't know if you can hear or not, but our little creek, you can hear the water rushing. It's not big, just enough to make some sound. And I've been noticing that, my batteries, their cycle life is getting close. I used to have roughly 5 kilowatt of storage, usable storage. And now I'm down to basically about 2.5, somewhere in that area. That's the problem if you don't buy lithium iron phosphate batteries. And unfortunately, I bought the lead acid because at the time, the price difference was beyond my reach. And the penalty is lead acid. You're looking at on the average, if you maintain your batteries at peak performance, you might get 1,000 cycles out of it, which it looks like I'm going to get that. That's roughly 3 years. Some people have experienced a little more cycle life, but there's been a few times that I have had to discharge the shutoff on my inverter, especially during the Odette, when we had the typhoon, and never did get a full charge during that time, so that shortened my life cycles. It's something I need to pass that along to people wondering about it. Or if I'd had the LiPo4 batteries or lithium iron phosphate, even though I couldn't fully charge the batteries, it wouldn't shorten their cycles. Even if that's another thing too with the lithium iron phosphate. Even if you use those batteries for a period of time, and you might lose some of the capacity. I was watching a video earlier. Some used batteries on the market are rated at a lower capacity than when the battery was first manufactured, but still at 80% cycle life at that time. You probably still can experience probably close to 2,000 more cycles and still be good batteries. That's still much better than lead acid. See, the problem with lead acid is I'll use round numbers so it'll be easier to understand, is that you got a 100 amp hour battery. and you take it to full discharge, you're only going to get to use 50 ampere. You don't get that total 50 ampere either, because the lead acid is not very efficient. So you're only going to get probably 45, 44 amps out of it, 100 amps. Usable energy. That's another thing too. Also during the charging cycle, they're not very efficient, lead acid. And you put it's going to take you 125 amps to charge that battery back up to full charge, even though it's a 100 amp hour battery. Not very efficient all the way around. For the LiPo4 batteries, they stay around 95-98% efficiency, and you can discharge them down to 80% safely. Now you can go a little lower than that, but in order to get more cycle life, it's recommended to not go below 80%. Because if you do, you'll end up losing some capacity. Then it doesn't kill the battery unless you take them down below their safety voltage. So that's a little information I can pass along that I've acquired playing with my solar system. I've got roughly 2.4 kilowatts of solar panels, and right now I can't get that peak performance because this is the summer solstice, and I've got a big tree that doesn't belong to me that kind of shades it, so it'll be the end of July before I get the panels on my north side back up close to 100%. I do lose 2 months out of the year on my north side of being up there at peak performance, but I still get probably 75 to 80% on it. So it's not a total loss. Now my south side, it does real well until I hit the winter solstice, and I've got a tree that on that side that I can't cut because it don't belong to me. And it's about the same deal. I lose about 2 months of efficiency on that side. So overall, I average roughly right at 2 kilowatt year round during peak times. Now, when I'm talking about peak times, that's when the sun is up to where I can get maximum sunlight on my panels. And that's usually between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Now, I do get usable energy before then. And this time of year, I get starting around 6:30. I get enough wattage that I can actually use it at 6:30 a.m. And it's good to about 4:30 in the evening. So I've got several hours beyond the peaks, but I still get enough energy that's usable. Starting around 8:30, I can get between the two sets of panels, I can average a little over 1,000 watts, which is more than enough to power most of my appliances and everything on my house. And after 2 p.m., I still can get average over 1,000 watts. Usually to about 4 p.m. I can get close to 1,000 watts there, and it's enough to power my house. So I get roughly 8-9 hours a day that I can actually run full solar and maintain my batteries. And that's what I normally do on sunny days. I use it full solar, and my batteries get basically fully charged. And in the evening time, I switch back over to the grid in order to save my batteries. Or if I had the LiPo4 batteries, which are more efficient, I probably could almost do 24/7 when they have sunny days, and only have to go to the grid on if I have several cloudy days. But that's a little information I can pass along, a tidbit. If you're going to live in the Philippines, you need to be prepared for the brownouts in a lot of the areas. You get into, there's some areas that don't experience that. Again, I will quote that. I've been told, I've had several people contact me and tell me, they live in an area They can buy a portable generator because they don't experience a brownout maybe a couple times a year. For here, I experience brownouts on a regular basis. It's not unusual to have several days a week. But that's all in part now. The good part about living here, where I live, in the jungle, I bought a fan a little over a year ago. It's a Westinghouse commercial fan, 24 inch. I run it for over a year and never touched it. We cleaned it here a couple of weeks ago, and I was impressed that it wasn't very dirty. No, not at all. Now, it has accumulated a little bit of rust on the grids on it. I guess from the humid air here. And I've also noticed something else. I experienced this with the fan I've got in my bedroom, and with this one also. The plastic blades. These fans, they run pretty well constantly, especially when they're bedroom. And what happens, those plastic blades straighten out, and they don't blow air. Now, my commercial fan out here has plastic blades. It's a 5-blade fan, and it's doing the same thing. I've noticed a difference in volume of air coming out of it. Now, I have took the blade off, and I went to my gas top stove and tried to get the pitch back on it. It worked for a couple of weeks, but I'm going to have to replace them. It's going to be, I think, kind of expensive for fan blades, for plastic anyway. So I can't order replacement blades. Anyway, I thought I'd touch base on some of the experiences about brownouts and so forth. Hope you enjoy a little chat about some of these things. And I really appreciate everybody watching, and if you don't mind, take the time out to subscribe, like, and share. And may everyone experience good health and happiness in life. And thank you so much for watching.